Hello everyone, welcome in to Dot Talk this week. Tuba Samurai on with you, and we've got a great show coming up for you today. Going to look in at what was going on with the Q&A session with Bort and Catch last night. Looking at FFA news from Drake, Addicts news, GLB radio news, much more coming your way next. The following is a public service announcement. We play this game for fun, but how we act here and what we do is an extension of who and what we are in real life. It's okay to love the game, but it should never replace your real life. With that said, there's a line between being a good fun-loving addict and being obsessive to a point that is dangerous or destructive to yourself and potentially your friends and family. If you're playing the game to the extent that you spend more time talking to goal line blitzers than your wife, or scouting your next opponent when your kids are waiting for you to play with them, that's a problem. If you even have to doubt as to whether this applies to you, it does. Take a break. If you can't manage to spend less time on here in favor of your family, then you need to decide what really is more important. GLB should always come second place to your family, period. Everyone should at least give this some thought. Take a few minutes from Dotball to ask your wife or family if they see a problem. Discuss it to ensure that you can get an equitable compromise. No game is worth your marriage or your relationship. This message sponsored by the Goal Line Blitz Addicts. Welcome back into Dot Talk. Tuba Samurai on with you. And last night, Saturday, we had a Q&A session with Bort and Catch 22 that went well. You can view the answers to the emailed questions, you can see the full discussion thread, and you can see eventually a summarized version of the Q&A in the Q&A archive subforum of Goal Line Blitz Maine. And that summary should be in there in the next day or two, so look for that. A tip for the Q&As: if you have a multi-part question, especially if the parts are unrelated, please make separate posts. We understand you want to get your questions answered, but doing that three-part question and none of them are related to each other, it just makes it tough on us because we have to go in there and manually separate that. FFA news from Drake: Darkus is now an FFA mod. Not sure what the reason is, as he made 3 threads about it, but all I got from it is that he lives in his mom's basement and lives in England. Well, New England. This all turned out to be a lie, though. FFA has had a lot of failed posters, and my tips for those new posters is they can eat a bowl of baby penises. That's from Drake, some FFA news. In Addicts news, G-Man and Dog had a radio show Saturday night with special guests, Bort and Catch 22. And let's hear a couple of clips from that.
The biggest complaint so far this season is stamina. They all are, and they're still mad as hell, and a lot of them missed the whole point that you said. Not only did we change stamina, but we're going to give you another whole season to adjust to it. You said you reduced the effect of it by 2/3, but everybody's complaining about the dots are pretty slow still.
We initially started, when we first started testing it on the test server, we actually doubled the effects of energy and morale, and it was way too drastic. So we started tweaking it down until we thought we got to the right point after running some tests. After the first preseason game, we thought it was still a little bit too much, so we cut that effect in half.
Are you satisfied with where it's at now?
Yeah, but we're still going to do the other half next off season.
So it's still going to go into effect in more or less everybody's got fair warning, correct?
Right, and that's why I posted it in that weekly status update. To give people plenty of time to adjust their builds.
That was Catch 22 talking about stamina. Now let's hear from the man himself, Bort, talking with G-Man and Dog.
Well, I like to see people having fun. The game I made, that was why I made it in the first place. So glad to see you guys having a good time and enjoying yourselves.
Did you ever think it was going to be this big?
When I started.
You hoped it was going to be this big. Don't lie about that. You hoped it was going to be this big. You hoped that there was going to be a radio show, right?
I hoped it would do well, but, I just figured, we'll probably get, we'll start out with a few hundred people and go from there. And I never thought we'd get as many people as we did.
How long did you keep your job before you went full-time GLB?
About a month. Yeah. as soon as I saw that it was taking off, and it was like, well, we got to quit and work on this full time. So
that's some brass balls, man, because you never know if it's going to keep going.
That had to feel good, though.
Yeah, it did. It was definitely a took some guts to quit the full time day job, but we were doing well enough that we knew that even if we failed in the next few months, we could bounce back. So it's worth it.
That was Bort and Catch-22 talking with G-Man and Dog on Addicts Radio. You can get info, and you can even catch that full show with Bort and Catch-22. They had about 20 minutes on there, but always a good show at www.blogtalkradio.com/GmanV3 to hear Addicts Radio. Now, Goal Line Blitz Radio is getting ready to fire back up. Sharpie and others have been hard at work trying to revive Goal Line Blitz Radio, so there should be a good variety of shows coming soon for you to listen to. The Goal Line Blitz Radio subform will be updated, and I'll let you know when I know what the lineup is going to be and when that's announced. Sharpie says it should be announced in about a week or so. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we've got the pro tip from Chisel and more coming your way. Stay tuned. This is Dot Talk with Tuba Samurai. Get in on the action. Goal Line Blitz is a web-based American football MMORPG. They've written a custom football simulation engine to provide you with the ultimate football experience on the web. Do you love fantasy football? Ever wish you could play with the pros? Join other football fans from around the world in building the player and team of your dreams right here. That's GoalLineBlitz.com. Get in on the action. Welcome back into Dot Talk. Tuba Samurai with you right now with our pro tip from Chisel. And Chisel this week is talking about morale and stamina. He says the changes to morale and stamina have made stamina and confidence quite a bit more important. They're usually skills that go kind of untouched for the first several seasons. You might want to consider training them earlier than you originally planned. For a lot of positions, I might consider training it before vision. Aside from secondary, vision is a stat you don't often pump very high. Luckily, secondary players don't usually get hit as hard with morale issues because of how they're utilized in most defensive systems. I know QBs also usually take vision high, but they are different because you also want high confidence with a quarterback. That's your pro tip from Chisel. Appreciate that as always. That's going to do it for us on segment 1 of Dot Talk this week. Coming up in segment 2, we're going to have a Bort quote of the week from Tim Thorne and your replays of the week. That's coming up in segment 2. Stay tuned. It's coming your way next.
Right down beside you, snorting cocaine on the back of a train.